Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Laundry Room. I am your host, Pete Wall, and this is Pillar to Post. Now, it's been a shitty few days out here in Ontario, Canada. The weather's changing constantly. We're getting cold snaps, we're getting warm snaps. And this big dog here has been getting sick left and right, or battling insomnia. Last night I got a total of 1 hour's sleep. So, I'm bringing this news into you late. I don't know if it's been spread across YouTube as of yet, but you know what? There's so many of these wrestling shows, news and rumors. You're going to get a bunch of us talking about the same stuff. Like I said, here in Ontario, Canada, the place where Donald Trump would say snow Mexicans are from. It's cold. We get more snow than you guys reportedly. But like I said, my name's Pete Wall. You can find me on Twitter at Mordecai Fallon. And my email address is steeldragon1234@hotmail.com. I am an author. I am a podcaster. I am a t-shirt designer. And you can find my first novel on Amazon.com.ca. Wherever the fuck you live. It is titled Dragon's Kin by Pete Wall. You can find it on CreateSpace as well. If you want to hear about my t-shirts, well, you can find me on Facebook at Pete G. Wall. I've got my t-shirt page, which is called Circle of Steel. I will add all these in the description, as well as my author page under Pete Wall. So it'll all be on the description today. I don't usually do that, but I will today. Now, I've got a lot of news to go over today. And last night I did a show, and I kind of did it quick. It was like a 23-minute show. Like I said, I haven't been feeling too good. I'm the type of guy, I'm going to come on here, I'm going to talk the way I talk, I'm going to end the show the way I end the show. I'm going to have a cigarette on air if I choose to. And today's one of those days where I'm going to choose to have a cigarette while I'm recording. This show does not have an intro as of yet, because one, I haven't found a good enough tune. Two, I don't know how the fuck OBS works, and if I can add it without doing an edit. I like doing one-take episodes. If I fuck up, I fuck up. I'll correct myself, or I will just repeat some of the info I've given you. I really don't care about doing takes or doing a bunch of editing. So, if anyone has any how-tos on the OBS thing, how to add music, a little small intro clip, just, leave a comment or something. I'm going to butt that cigarette out just to be a nice guy, because I see that smoke makes a hideous fucking image on the screen. Now, like I said, I've got news. Some of that news is probably interesting. Some of that news has probably been heard before. But here's the rundown of what we're going to talk about tonight. Bully Ray on why returning to Impact Wrestling was pointless. Also, his 1 day away from having the Bully Ray character on WWE television. Winner for Roman Reigns vs. Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. Former WWE superstar leaving professional wrestling. Hideo Itami returning. Erick Rowan returning. And the Asuka streak. How close is she to beating or tying Bill Goldberg's undefeated streak in WCW? So like I said, we've got some news today. And I'm happy to bring it to you. We're going to start with the Bully Ray story about how he feels about joining Ring of Honor. How close he was to debuting the Bully Ray character on WWE television. And, maybe our 2 cents about it. So here we go. Bully Ray on why returning to Impact Wrestling was pointless. Says WWE was close to debuting the Bully Ray character and original plans and much more. Ring of Honor star Bully Ray recently spoke with Sports Illustrated's Extra Mustard, and below are some interview highlights. I didn't really need to read that part, now did I? On almost debuting the Bully Ray character in WWE, we came one day, and this is from Bully Ray himself. We came one day away in August from debuting Bully Ray in WWE. At the last second, the decision was made to not go forward with it. Bully Ray was ready to go, but that's all I can tell you. We were one day away, and they had to pull the plug on it. I think the Bully Ray character would have worked in WWE. There's more to this story, but I'm going to give you my 2 cents about the Bully Ray character. As you remember, he had huge storylines and rose to the occasion. Like, he brought a lot of viewers to TNA when he was doing the Bully Ray character. He led the Aces of Eights. He was battling the likes of Jeff Hardy, Sting, Hulk Hogan. You know, it was probably the highest he's ever rose in the ranks of a wrestling company. He was the TNA World Champion. He controlled a good faction in the company. It was kind of reminiscent of NWO, but more biker-esque, more biker-esque look to it. Would it have worked? Yes, I think it would have worked in WWE. I think he could have gone and had a good storied season in WWE television. I would have liked to have seen it happen in WWE, but Ring of Honor right now, they're going to use him, and it'll probably go over pretty well. On not debuting with Impact Wrestling and instead opting to sign with Ring of Honor. At the last minute, TNA came in hard and heavy and made me a significant offer. This is the words out of Bully Ray's mouth. But the way I look at it is this. If I can't go back someplace and top what I did before, then it's kind of pointless. I'm not blowing smoke up my own ass here. Bully Ray was the top heel in TNA. I generated ratings. Me and Jeff Hardy drew TNA's biggest house of all time at Lockdown, and I made my run with Hulk Hogan and with Sting. Or I had my run with Hulk Hogan and Sting. If you take a look at the landscape of TNA and their locker room right now, I don't have anybody to top what I did with before. The rumored original plan in WWE was for Bubba Dudley to turn on Devon Dudley the night after WWE SummerSlam. And that would see the debut of Bully Ray in a new direction for Bubba. However, those plans were scrapped. Instead, the Dudley boys were beaten down on Raw the night after SummerSlam in Brooklyn. And that was their final day together in WWE. Devon now works as backstage producer for the company. So, although Devon is retired, he still is a man of WWE. He's helping in the backstage as a producer. Yeah, if you look at the WCW landscape right now, their locker room, there is nobody he can actually feud with that'll make it interesting. Yes, they do have Alberto El Patron, but they're going to fuck up him too. Like, they couldn't even have him come out on his debut without fucking up his intro. They had, instead of El Patron, they had Del Patron. Like, complete retards. They edited it out for TV to fix the problem, but they cut the audio out so it looked like he came out to dead heat. Absolutely nothing. There was no sound, and yet he had a huge pop when he came. So, they're already dropping the ball, and they're supposedly recreating Impact Wrestling. And they can't even work properly with a guy like Alberto El Patron. Come on. Our next story. the planned winner for Roman Reigns versus Undertaker, and we all know what Vince McMahon is looking for. He's looking to make Roman Reigns look undefeatable. The Samoan Superman moves on, and in my guess, probably goes to SummerSlam to face Brock Lesnar. Well, we're going to find out what this article has to say, and we'll go from there. So, here's the article. After about 2 months of speculation, WWE finally confirmed that The Undertaker will face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Originally, Undertaker was going to wrestle John Cena on the show, which is why he returned to SmackDown back in November. But Vince McMahon ended up changing his mind shortly after the dead man came back to SmackDown, which is why he's been moved over to Raw. Now, everyone remembers this. He came back, he threatened the SmackDown locker room before Survivor Series, warned everyone, you dropped the ball, you're going to deal with the dead man. He was back, and he was back to digging holes and taking souls. And then all of a sudden he was back on, or he was moved over to Raw. We don't like it. We knew what it was for. We're not stupid people. We knew that Vince McMahon had a hard-on to put Roman Reigns over with the fans. He's had 3 years to do this, and it hasn't worked. Every project he's worked on with Roman Reigns to make him go over as a huge babyface, it has not worked. I read an article comparing him to John Cena's heat. The boos mixed with the cheers. No, it is more like 80% boos when Roman Reigns comes out and 20% cheers. John Cena gets a 50-50. So give me a fucking break. He's no John Cena. And the guy can't even fucking handle a mic. Some of WWE's more hardcore fans probably aren't happy that Roman is facing The Undertaker on April 2nd. No fucking shit. And they'll probably be even more angry when they read the latest report from Cage Side Seats, which says that the plan as of right now is for Roman to defeat the dead man at WrestleMania 33. Well, we didn't fucking realize what that plan was. It looks like WWE is once again grooming Roman for another WWE Championship match with Brock Lesnar, which will probably take place at SummerSlam. Well, no shit. Some of these guys on the internet, some of these that are reporting this news, I know that a lot of them do this for the retard fan, the ones that don't realize what's going to happen in the world of wrestling. We all know why Roman Reigns is getting groomed the way he is. My opinion, though, they need to give up on it. Make him go massive heel come WrestleMania. Even working up to WrestleMania, he needs to start showing heel tendencies. And at WrestleMania, if they want him to go over on the dead man, he needs to do it in heel fashion. And not just heel fashion, massive heel fashion. Like, he needs to really fuck over The Undertaker in order to really get that real hatred heat to be a monster heel. And it can be done. The fans already are hating on the guy. But Vince McMahon isn't going to do it. We all know that. So, what are we going to do as fans? I know this fan is going to drink coffee out of his number one dad's coffee mug. Now, we got a former WWE superstar leaving professional wrestling. I don't know if this has been out in the YouTube community as of yet, but former WWE superstar Adam Rose, otherwise known as Leo Kruger or just Kruger, he is planning on leaving the wrestling world. And here's the article pertaining to that information. Looks like we won't be seeing any rosebuds or lemons anytime soon. Former WWE superstar Adam Rose announced via his official Twitter page that he will be leaving the world of professional wrestling later this year. And this is a quote straight from Kruger's @RealKruger Twitter account. This will be my last year wrestling. Thank you to those who got it. Thank you even more to those who didn't. You pushed me harder. Much love. That was his message. He is currently wrestling on the independent scene using the ring name Kruger, but has also competed as Leo Kruger in the past. Excuse me. Rose, whose real name is Raymond Lapon, has not been with WWE since being released on May 23rd of last year. Prior to this, he was involved in a serious legal matter in which he was arrested for domestic violence and tampering with a witness. His wife, Rose, pleaded for the judge to not put a restraining order on Lapon. The judge accepted this request. My opinion, if he... I hate guys who beat on their women. It's not showing you're a man of any sort. I didn't like the Adam Rose character to begin with. The Leo Kruger gimmick probably was better for him. I don't know. I didn't follow it back then. But I think if you're having this much problems with the business that you are in currently and you have to take your frustrations out on your woman, you need to back away and take a good hard look at yourself and reinvent yourself, either in a different business or in life general. So, best of luck to Adam Rose, and may succeed in a new field. Hideo Itami returns at an NXT house show. I haven't seen too much of Hideo Itami, but from what I have heard, he is injury prone. He is one of the best when it comes to cruiserweight style. He puts on a great show for the fans, but he is injury prone and he comes back for short spurts before he's injured again. So, like I said, I haven't seen much of the guy. I know he's got a huge fan following, but, you know, as a guy that's been away from the wrestling world for about 5 years and then just getting back into it, I don't know a hell of a lot about Hideo Itami. So, this is the article. That's another one back on the good list. Hideo Itami has been in NXT for years now, but unfortunately a good chunk of his time down there has been spent on the injured list. Itami missed over a year of action due to a shoulder injury, and after only a few matches back, went on the shelf for the better part of 5 months due to a neck injury. He's back from neck injury, though, and got physical at a house show in Orlando, Florida. Itami was back in the ring tonight and attacked Riddick Moss, and I believe this was on March 11th. The man who botched the slam that hurt Itami's neck in the first place. There was no match, but Itami did give Moss a GTS. There is no word on when Itami will be back in the ring, but this would suggest that it won't be much longer. And we've got a lot of returning wrestlers that are returning at house shows instead of on the televised shows. Finn Balor, which I was reporting on, I believe it was last night. He is one that's returning in a slow fashion on the house shows. Hideo Itami looks like he's doing the same. Erick Rowan, he's another one that's returning. And he is set to return this coming week on SmackDown. Erick Rowan on returning to WWE this week. It has, okay, let's see. It was almost a full 2 weeks ago that word came from Erick Rowan, or that Erick Rowan had been cleared to make his return to WWE. This after some 4 months on the shelf after shoulder surgery for a torn rotator cuff. Excuse me, my mouth keeps on going dry. Like I said at the beginning of the show, have not been feeling up to par. Now, PW Insider is reporting he is scheduled to be at this week's television tapings. His return will come at a time when Luke Harper just lost out on top contender status to the WWE Championship Bray Wyatt is currently possession of. Considering the state of the SmackDown Live Tag Team division, perhaps he'll be paired up with his old partner. Or maybe Wyatt will recruit him to assist in his battle with Randy Orton at WrestleMania 33. That's a huge question mark. No one knows what Erick Rowan's role is going to be when he comes back. The latest weird tweet from Rowan provides no clues at all about his return. And this is what he has to say on his Twitter account. Sometimes turning onto a dead-end street is not a bad thing. So, although weird, it just kind of lets us know he has no idea what he's going to be doing when he returns either. And in WWE, everything seems to be just back and forth, you know? No one really knows what's going on. No one really knows what's going to happen anymore. It's not like the days of old where the wrestlers actually kind of had a good idea where they were going throughout the month and throughout the year. Like feuds back in the day could last a whole year from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. These days, everything is subject to change at a moment's notice. So the wrestlers themselves don't even really know what they're going to be doing exactly. Now, everyone, I'm not going to say everyone. The guys back from us fans from the Attitude Era, the Monday Night War era, we remember when Goldberg debuted. And yes, everyone's sick to death about hearing about Goldberg. He's a part-timer. He doesn't deserve the title. This has nothing to do about that. This is a segue into the next segment. But as I was saying, those of us who lived back then, who were living and breathing wrestling back then, we remember when Goldberg came in. He was slated as an undefeated Tower of Doom. No one could get past the guy. It was 2-minute matches, 1-minute matches, second matches. You know, they were like seconds and the match was over. And it just kept on building up his undefeated streak. Well, NXT currently has a woman who has been undefeated as well. And that woman is Asuka. Huge fan favorite. Everyone is waiting for her to make her main roster debut. And this is the title of the segment. Asuka's streak reaches 155 in her surprise Madison Square Garden debut. Now she is debuting on main event or main roster shows on the untelevised house shows. So let's see what the article has to say about Asuka and her undefeated streak. NXT's Women's Champion Asuka hasn't been pinned or submitted since joining WWE in 2015. And with the company drawing attention to the number of wins she's racked up over that time, and even making comparisons to Goldberg's legendary WCW streak, we've decided to follow along. On Sunday afternoon, March 12th, in New York City's historic Madison Square Garden, the Empress of Tomorrow made a surprise appearance. We've known about for weeks. Asuka teamed with Nikki Bella, Becky Lynch, and Tamina to defeat Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya and Carmella when Carm tapped to the Asuka lock. 155. 18 more to tie Bill Goldberg's acknowledged 1997 to 1998 streak. Reports also indicate Asuka would work Monday's SmackDown brand house show in Charleston, West Virginia. But in covering her Manhattan debut, WWE.com is playing it coy. If she's not there, NXT is back on Florida circuit Thursday night. So it looks like they're going to have another person break a streak. They had Demolition Streak broken. They've had the women's longest title reign broken, I believe, or someone's working on that currently. Who fucking knows? Oh, Nikki broke the women's title record. I believe that was AJ Lee's record. And now they're going to have an NXT competitor, especially a woman, go and break Goldberg's undefeated streak. Asuka, you can't argue with it. She is the top performer for the women's division on NXT. She's probably the top women's competitor on all of WWE television right now. I have not watched much of NXT as of yet. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Ember Moon, and her probably being the person to take Asuka's place when Asuka gets called up. But as of right now, it's 155. She's got 18 more matches to win, and she's tied or broken, she's tied Bill Goldberg's winning streak. So, I'm going to talk a little about Dean Ambrose. And he's talking about the swell of pride in the SmackDown locker room. Now, we all know Vince McMahon, Stephanie, they both like to talk about Raw being the number one show. The fans of wrestling, however, have been more on what Vince would classify as the B show side. We all believe SmackDown is the better brand. It is the A show. Yes, they have had a couple of weeks that haven't been that great, but all in all, they have been putting on a better wrestling show. Let's go through the article. Let's pick it apart a little bit, and we'll go from there. I think this is going to be the last article for the night, and I will call it a night then. So, while Mick Foley believes SmackDown Live is more beloved than Monday Night Raw because it has one less hour to fill out creatively, wrestlers on the Blue brand have been open about what they believe makes it so strong. Becky Lynch mentioned it being more free and less uptight. Dean Ambrose told Planeta Wrestling it's one of the best locker rooms he's ever been in. And these are his words. I think SmackDown has proven that. I've certainly never looked at it like I want to beat Raw or a competition thing. You have to take a certain pride in your work. I think that SmackDown, and knowing that we've gotten so much great feedback from the company saying, you guys are doing really good, you guys are becoming, we see the audience grow. We see it every week at the live events. The crowd is really into the feuds and rivalries. Excuse me. I'm having a very hard time talking right now, but I'm going to punch through it. As a locker room, we may beat each other up every night, but I think there's been a big swell of pride in the SmackDown locker room. Just a really good group of guys and women. It's one of the best locker rooms I've ever been a part of. It may be the best locker room I've ever been a part of. Even guys that are out there punching each other in the face every night, we're kind of on the same team. It's in some ways because we all take a great pride that the show started as a new show on a new night, and it's a live show. We take a lot of pride that we really created something good. I think we all take a little bit of ownership in that. And as a fan, you can't disagree. You know, these guys having pride in their work, they deserve to have pride in their work. They are actually keeping the fans entertained, especially when it comes to wrestling. We all went on a bitch fest about this last week's show. They really didn't do anything. There was way too much talking going on, way too many promos, not enough wrestling. And that is unusual for SmackDown. But all in all, SmackDown, since the brand draft, has been putting on significantly better and more entertaining shows than Raw. Why is it we never seem to hear similar comments from anyone on the Monday Night Raw side? Perhaps because SmackDown is perceived as the underdog brand and they face questions on it when the red side does not. One clue. We all know Triple H does not like scripted promos. Like, take a look at Talking Smack. There is no script for the show. Everyone comes in and they basically go out off the hip. They shoot from the hip. Everything's off the cuff, and it's more real. Whereas SmackDown, when you see them on SmackDown, there is a little bit more scripted, but it's also a little bit more free range. Things just seem to flow a little bit better on SmackDown, even in the promos. On Monday night, you have the wrestlers kind of talking robotic, especially wrestlers like Charlotte. No one's ever going to say that Paul Heyman sounds robotic. Absolutely nobody. But there are a lot of wrestlers that come off that way. They are too heavily scripted. SmackDown seems to be a little bit more free range. So that makes us, the fans, perceive it in a different light. It's more of what we're used to seeing in wrestling, not all the scripted bullshit that means nothing, and it's scripted to the point where we just want to switch off our TV. So that is my show for the night. When I'm feeling better, I'll do a little bit longer shows. I will state my opinion a little bit clearer. I'll do a lot more. I am right now working through feeling like crap, not getting enough sleep. The up and down of the weather's wreaking havoc, as well as I'm trying to get my current book to the point where it can be brought to the editor, which is my wife, but I still have deadlines and goals set for myself. So join me. I'm going to try being back tomorrow. Maybe we do a new show. Maybe we talk a little WrestleMania. Who knows? Do me a favor. Hit that like. Please subscribe. And join me. Either if not... Well, what is it today? We've got... I don't know. I can't even remember what day it is. Sunday, Saturday. Who the fuck knows? Join me Monday for sure. Monday Night Raw. We're going to do a review, result, and reaction show, as well as Tuesday night for SmackDown. Have a good night. And